Well, hello there. We meet again. Tonight, I am going to do chorizo burritos in a jar. I seasoned up 8 pounds of pork that I had in my freezer, and I just bought some from my friends. I have some chorizo seasoning that I had bought from one of our local grocery stores, so I just mixed those together, browned it up in a couple of cast iron skillets. So here it is. Aiden's stealing some. Yummy. And I'm seasoning my cast iron skillets right now while I'm working, so it's one less step that I have to make. This stand is so broken. It was such a beautiful gift, but this thing is like dead. Anyway, I did not know that burritos in a jar were such a big deal. So I'm going ahead and doing my version. I have a gallon of chicken stock cooking. I have a jar of chipotles that I'm going to chop up and put in that broth. I have a can of chopped green chilies that I'm going to add to the onions and bell peppers that I have and put it directly in the jar. I have my chorizo. I have some pinto beans that I have brought up to a boil. They soaked overnight. I brought them up to a boil. I'm going to turn them off. And then I'm going to put my jars in the oven to get hot, and this will be a hot pack. So I'll have my canner with hot water, hot ingredients, and we'll do it that way. I know that's not my usual, but that's just what I feel like doing tonight. So I'm going to go ahead. And of course, there's Aiden, being Aiden. Now we really like our food pretty spicy, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and do all these because they're delicious and they're not horribly spicy. I guess everybody's idea of, would you go turn off the skillets, please? Everybody's idea of spicy is different. In our house, we're pretty heat-loving people, so this probably won't bother us too much. I had thought about making like a enchilada sauce with my my dried chilies, but I did not do that. Not everybody has them on hand. Chipotles are pretty easy to come by. The chilies are too, but they're mighty expensive, so you know, I like to buy the big bulk bags of them from the Mexican food section because I do like to make scratch enchilada sauce, and I go through quite a few of them. But not everybody's like that, so if that doesn't work for you, then can of chipotles. You don't have to add any heat, really. This is just what I choose to do, so I'm just pulverizing these up as much as I can. I know when I make our beef and bean burritos, I use chipotle, and I may not use all of these. I may set some of them aside for a different dish. I'm thinking it does look like quite a bit for a gallon of stuff, so I asked my son to sharpen my knives for me. He's gonna work on that this weekend, because this is not as sharp as I would like, that's for sure. I'm actually super excited about this dish. Hey Magnus, Mommy's filming. Please be quiet. My cute little bug. He's going to be 3 years old on Monday. I can't even believe it. My baby is almost 3. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my hands off and I'll set up the camera and show you my broth. Okay, so my broth is at a good simmer. And I'm going to add some beautiful Mexican oregano. I'm thinking probably like a couple of tablespoons-ish. We can taste it when we're done and see how it comes out, but that looks about right. And then I'm going to add some cumin. I'll not be adding any spices because the chorizo is super spicy and the chipotles are going to be spicy. So for the cumin, I'll add about, I don't know, a tablespoon and a half. And then plenty salty with the broth. The chorizo is salty, so I'm not really worried about that. Honestly, that's perfect. I really like that. It's just very simple flavors, but mixed with chorizo and bell peppers, onions, some chipotle peppers, it's gonna be perfect. I was gonna put the chipotles into the broth, but I actually think I'm gonna put them straight into each jar. So woo, here we go for a walk. I got so many pans and stuff all over the place. It's been a busy food prep day. All right. This is also the day that everybody's cleaning up for Sabbath, so that adds into things as well. I'm going to stop this and get things arranged better. I'll be back. So here's the lineup. We have chorizo. We have the pinto beans that are quite hot. We have an adorable Elizabeth. We have cut up onions and red bell peppers, cut up chorizo, and chopped green chilies, and my broth blend. Now, full disclosure, I told you I'm not real fond of using this stuff, but I bought it, so I'm gonna use it. So this is my chicken broth today. Have my jar grabber. If I have to have my crunchy card revoked another day, I totally am deserving of that, and I apologize, but it is what it is. A chopstick, and if you don't have fresh chicken broth, feel free to use a bouillon. It's not going to kill you, but it's definitely not something I would use every day. Got a jar filler, and I got my lids and bands. I ran out of Superb lids. I'm kind of bummed because they're like totally my favorite. But this is our lineup. I've got the canner warming up. The jars are warming up in the oven, and I'm just going to do this assembly line style. So hold on, here we go. I am starting out with 1 cup of chorizo. We'll see how it looks. Okay, so we're going to end up doing 1.5 cups of chorizo per jar. I think, well, you know what? Actually 2. I want this to be mostly meat. So 2 cups of chorizo. This tastes really good. Having homegrown pork makes all the difference in the world. And then I am going to do, gosh, I don't know what the equivalent measurement would be because I have like this slotted spoon thingy that looks like about 1/2 cup of pinto beans. Ooh, these jars are kind of warm. So we'll start out with about 1/2 cup. We might add more, we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, I want this to be plenty beany. So probably, if you were to measure it out, it would probably be like 3/4 cup of pinto beans. And then we are doing 1/2 cup of bell peppers and onions. Gotta remember to leave enough headspace, but it's all gonna shrink down a bit. And then we are adding, this is a 1.5 tablespoons. Ooh, you know what? I feel like that might be too much chipotle per jar. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of chipotle and 2 teaspoons of green chilies per jar, because we actually want to enjoy this. All right, I'm gonna push it down just a tad. It's not quite as ridiculously full as it seems. And then we're going to fill her up with our broth mixture here. Stir it around a bit. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. I mean, it tastes, the ingredients alone taste really good. I can only imagine how good it's going to be with everything combined. Get that inch head space. Okay, now I am just wiping the rim of this jar with vinegar. I know, like I've said before, there's a little bit of controversy. I've not had any issues with doing my rims with vinegar. I've never had any degraded rubber, nothing like that, so I'm not too worried about it. I did find, however, when I used just water, I had lid failure or seal failures. So I'm gonna stick with what works for me. Okay, thank you. Hey, Magnus, shh, please be quiet. And I'm gonna put my lids on. Bands, fingertip tight, and look at that. It's beautiful. It smells amazing. This is gonna go in the canner. Hello, Gracie girl. This is my Astrid Grace. Can you say hi, Chichi? Chichi is her nickname. And then Mr. Magnus, or I like to call him Magpie, is behind me, helping me by handing me bands and and lids. Magpie, can you say hi? I love my babies. I still can't believe that little guy's about to be 3. All right, so these are just going into my canner. You know the drill. Bring up to pressure. Can 90 minutes, 10 pounds PSI. And I can't wait to come back and show you what these look like. So I'll see you in a while. And here we have it. There was a little bit of siphoning. It doesn't appear to be too much. I think that it looks a lot worse than it is. But look at those beautiful beans and that gorgeous chorizo. We have 7 wonderful quarts of meal starter. All right.